Hey loves, how are you? Today is day 18 of Inner Union, and today we're going to talk about divine masculine stability, which is connected to that topic I spoke about a few days ago around divine masculine containers. Okay, I'm obviously a feminine, so I'm going to speak about this from first my own inner understanding of my own inner work with my inner masculine. And I've learned this process or learned to work with these processes through observing my connection with masculines, but also because of my own initiation with a divine counterpart energy that sparked all of this inside of me and really inspired me to understand masculine energies and essences in a way that I never really looked at before. And through that process, I actually discovered a lot of places where my own inner masculine energy was acting at the time from a more like wounded protective place because it was all I knew how to do, how to protect myself. And it made me find and discover that there was places I was kind of frozen or stagnant or rigid or stuck within my system. And as I have worked with that mirror and I have worked with thawing out and recalibrating those parts of myself into the more divine masculine essences, I've found personally that I've been able to protect and stabilize myself in ways that I never could before. And it's also a big part of the energy and essence that allows me to share these messages here on the channel because it's a lot of my intuitive feminine energies and essences that work in the energetic realms and work in the intuitive energies, but it's my masculine type of energies that are allowing me to stabilize it and ground it. And the two together in my heart space is what allows those abilities to come together and come forth to help create these messages and videos for you. So maybe that's kind of a helpful way to understand it from the inner union sort of perspective, where it's the feminine energies and essences that are working in the intuitive and creative realms, but it's the masculine creative power that allows that stabilization to bring it into the physical world. And then it was my inner commitment to the channel and even to making this inner union series for 22 days that allowed it to stabilize and come into a new type of fruition for the channel. Okay. So that is an example of how when we work with learning and understanding and supporting our own internal masculine energies, it supports how we connect out into the world, but it also helps us understand masculine energies on the planet in a whole new way. Okay. And I have spoke to some masculines that have confirmed what I've been learning for me through conversation. And it's been helpful for me because I really want to make sure that I'm speaking in alignment from a more masculine type of perspective. Okay. And I want to talk about what happens to the divine feminine energies as divine masculine feels stable. Okay. So what happens, I believe, in on these journeys, but even if we look into our world, right? You have people in relationships, and regardless of sex, there's generally tends to be a dynamic where one person is more in a feminine role and one person is more in a masculine role. It's just kind of part of how we've learned how to balance and harmonize in within the information that we were provided. Okay, we're learning new ways, but in the past, and even obviously in some current circumstances, this is what's happening. And the one who is in the more masculine energy is in more of a physical world provider, protector type of energy. And when you have a masculine who is in that role or assumes that role, they're going to want to be in some form of control. And a masculine energy is really in a harmonized way intended to be in some form of a control manner, but in a stabilized way, not in a over controlling, overbearing way, but in that energy of a harmonized control, right? Where he's learned and understands how to wield his own power, and he's stable and controlled within that. He's comfortable with his boundaries. He's comfortable with allowing those he loves and around him to be free to express and move how they need to in a safe way. Okay. He can be stable and move and dance with those energies as he feels safer and safer within himself. And as he builds more and more trust within himself to show up for himself. Okay. And to be able to also set boundaries for himself in a healthy way, which would be not needing to wall or run or freeze out energies. Because sometimes when we get into our more uncertain types of masculine energies, where we have fear in our system or uncertainty and we want to protect, we will go into more of a running or walling or freezing energy because that is a form of a protective mechanism. Okay. But as the masculine essence learns how to work with the uncertainty, right? When they can become more confident, when we can become more confident in showing up for ourselves and feeling comfortable protecting ourselves in an assertive way versus a passive aggressive manner, then there is a comfort that is built in a confidence that allows those boundaries and standards to be set in the physical world without needing to run away anymore. Okay. Or, like I said, freeze off or block out. We can move into this space of feeling more comfortable. And as we do that with our internal or external masculine energy, so you may find during this process, you go into more of a very masculine energy. You may find during this process that your boundaries get a lot firmer or stronger, maybe than they have been before. Or you may find that you um, are starting to set boundaries in ways that you didn't know how to before. And it might come across more assertive, aggressive type of side at the beginning, or you might find emotions coming up around with it, around frustration or anger, because in the past, maybe you didn't feel comfortable setting those boundaries, or you didn't know how, or when you did it, you felt that there was an uncomfortable pushback that created resistance from the other direction. Okay. I want to tap into this a little bit deeper because I'm sensing that there's something else that's wanting to come through in this pocket um, for you guys. Because, well, I'm going to talk about this. So, when our inner masculine becomes more stable and comfortable in the boundaries without needing to shut down or run away, what happens in this energy and essence is something very beautiful, because what this does is it allows the inner feminine, the divine feminine essence, to feel safe, to come out and to be able to express and share her energies and essences. She's now able to open herself to the masculine fully because she feels safe within a container that supports her but does not squish her or suffocate her. Okay. Because on the other side, if the feminine essence feels suffocated or squished or over controlled, the feminine essence will run and hide and exit stage left, because then she'll go into masculine energy where she needs to protect herself. Okay. So when the masculine feels more safe within himself or within our masculine energies, when we've learned how to show up for ourselves and care for ourselves and set our standards for ourselves in a way that we never have before, it allows the two to harmonize in a much deeper way internally. And as you do this internally, you're going to find that you draw in more of those types of relationships and connections in your outer reality as well. Okay. So part of what happens during this process is allowing yourself to show up for yourselves in the ways that you feel others have not been able to. So if you have a divine counterpart connection, or you've had some, say, support issues in your family, or with a father figure, or with siblings, or with friends, or past relationships, or whatever have you, coworkers, bosses, any places or spaces where maybe you have felt that masculines have not been able to show up for you in the most supportive ways that you are needing, craving, or wanting, that is the number one ways to know what to start providing for yourself. Okay. Whether you're a woman or a man, or however you identify, it does not matter, because I'm sure that there's also masculines present who have not had masculine figures that have been able to provide them with the full support that they want, crave, and deserve from, say, a father figure, or a role model type of energies. And that's all okay. People are doing the best they can with the information that they have. But this is why this work is so important, if you feel called to do it. Because as we stabilize these energies within us, regardless of how we identify, now we're able to stabilize and carry those types of keys and codes in our system. And then we can share them out in the world with others. And we can hold those spaces in a new way. Sorry, not sure what just happened. But so we have this opportunity to really move into these energies and stabilize them within ourselves, harmonizing more and more of our own internal union. And then it also, as we're doing that internally, allows us to show up in the external world, in our relationships, in a new way. And as we're providing and protecting and stabilizing for ourselves, we're not in that needy energy of needing an external masculine to provide that for us, okay, in that way, because now we're holding that for ourselves. And what happens in this process is that feeling where you feel like you're waiting for someone to show up as a puzzle piece so that you can move forward. Now you're becoming that puzzle piece for yourself. And this is not to say that there's not going to be an external partnership or masculine that comes forward for you. It simply means that if there's not one present, it's because you're being called to develop this understanding for yourself, because you have the capability within you to do this. And it is a deeper form of self-love, unconditional self-love, in true inner union and unity consciousness. And in truth, you have these energies and potentials inside of you, and that is why they're not showing up externally. It's kind of like how we need vitamin D, and one of the only ways that we can get it naturally, like our body doesn't naturally alone produce vitamin D. We either need the sunshine in the photosynthesis on our skin to absorb and create the vitamin D, or we get it from another external source, which is through supplements and things like that. Okay. That's an example of us not being able to internally produce it but it being available in multiple external sources. Okay. But with this, there are certain ways that we are able to harness the divine masculine essences inside of us. And as we do that part for ourselves, if there are things that we're not able to do, right? Like there's no sun, right? If there's no sun, like in a place where I live, there's weeks and days, like extended periods of time where we don't get the sun. So a vitamin D supplement is very appropriate. Okay. So if you're working in these energies and you're needing a mirror or you're needing a new support, then there's going to be a masculine energy that will show up to provide that information, that mirror, that support for you. Okay. So if there is not one present, it's because you're being called into this internal union journey. Okay. And you may find as you're in this part that some of those external masculine energies do start to show up in your world. Okay. Whether it's through a strong masculine energy or even other women who have worked within their own internal energy and union, and they're able to hold a safe container for you and with you. Okay. So it's really some of the telltale signs of this divine masculine stability will be you being able to feel safe to open up into your divine feminine energies and essences, to feel safe to communicate, to feel safe to share your dreams and your intuitions, okay? And to let your energy in your body relax, feeling less resistance internally. And this even goes for the masculines here on the channel. When you're feeling more stable in your own masculine energy, or you come in contact with someone who's in that stabilized energy and in a more inner union state, you're going to feel safe to know that it's okay for you to open up in new ways as well. Okay, so this is a quality and a stability and a safety that we can develop and create and manifest internally, which is going to help you as an individual, but it's also really going to help stabilize things in your external world. And the power of this stabilizing energy in understanding how to provide yourself with a safe container is going to help you be able to create containers for manifestation for yourself. Okay. And I feel guided to share this part with you. If you're going along, there might be times where you feel like you're really mastering some energy and you can feel the safety and the stability of it. And then you might notice all of a sudden you get into another pocket and you feel scattered and you feel like that protection or that stability that you had for some reason, it's like gone. It feels almost like it's disappeared. Okay. So one of the things that you can do when this happens is set the intention to have a container around this energy so that you can learn how to work with and manifest what it wants to show you. It might be twofold. One, a lot might have came up in your system at once, and some of it just needs to clear out and dissipate. And then you'll notice that you're able to restabilize in it. And then other times you might have this information come up and you kind of feel almost like you're not able to ground or get your footing within it. And this could be because you're being called to expand and learn a new boundary or a new standard for yourself. So that's where you could go into potentially like a meditation or even write out your intention like, hey, I'm aware that I feel a bit scattered right now. I would like to set the intention to stabilize my energy. And if there's anything that I need to know, please show me. You can draw a picture of yourself and draw a circle around it like a container. Imagine you can draw the picture of yourself standing on the earth, feeling stable, even drawing tree roots down into the earth to show and represent that stability. You might find as you draw the picture you feel the energies supporting you. You can obviously do this in a visualization as well, but the drawing and the writing actually brings it into physicality. Of course, you can find yourself someone to support you in a session if you're feeling like you're needing more information. Whatever you need to do, but I wanted to bring this to your awareness that some of those moments that are coming up, because I've had several conversations with many of you that are going through this process right now as we speak, where you feel surrendered, you're feeling stable, you are really feeling the strength of the work that you've done. And then, boom, all of a sudden, it seems like you're in a pocket of grief or feeling unstable or feeling like a lot of intensity up in your system. And there's been a concern like, what is going on? Am I not there yet? And I think I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it again. You have solidified that information that you've been learning. What's happening is now that you're strong and stable, some of the energy or the pockets where you were not strong enough to handle in the past are now opening up. So now you can work in those pockets and stabilize yourself within those. Okay. And you will find the more stable you get and the more comfortable you get and the less judgmental you are within yourself around this process, the safer and safer that your divine feminine creative intuitive essence is going to feel with coming out and harmonizing with that masculine energy. So this is a very powerful process of inner union. Okay. And so as the masculine energies on the planet or internal masculine energies on the planet are stabilizing, like I've said, as the feminines, we'll say there's the group of the feminines that are stabilizing within more of this inner union. And again, that's allowing now the divine masculine collective at a bigger level to go into his next steps and stages of his process. And there's this beautiful dance internally and within the collectives, because as the feminines are stabilized into the lower chakras and more comfortable in her own internal masculine energies, it frees the masculines to go into their creative, more intuitive energies and allowing themselves to learn how to love themselves more. And now that helps them level up. Oh, now as the masculines go through that, where they were stabilized more in the older energies before, now they get an opportunity to expand just like the feminines have. They're learning more with their internal energies. And as they go through their transformational processes, they are then able to hold a bigger container for the divine feminine collective to continue to level up as well. So once again, we're continuously working in tandem. Okay. And so if it's not present in your physical 3D world at the moment, it's because you're being called to support and stabilize more of these energies internally first. Okay. Because as we're working within, it's stabilizing externally for the planet as well. And remember, many of us are working on these energies right now. And so we're also working in tandem in the bigger collective energies, supporting this on a much broader scale. So even if you're feeling like, oh, what is one person going to do? What one person is doing is huge. What you're doing just by being here, being present, opening to these concepts, doing the internal work, harmonizing your inner union is very big. It is very big. And I'm so grateful to be here with you. I would love to hear your thoughts and your feelings around this divine masculine stability energy and working within containers, right? And allowing yourself the space to show up for and stabilize and provide for yourself in the ways that you've been wanting to experience in your outer worlds. And remembering that that is your biggest clue. You have that information right in front of you. If it's something that you're wanting to experience and craving to have in your life, now you know that to-do list to write and how to start providing that for yourself. And I know that some of you are already working on that. This is just to validate and solidify that support for you. And obviously, just continuing to take that into deeper pockets for yourself and understanding this is the process that we're in, and you're doing beautiful. And I'm so incredibly grateful to be here with you. And for those of you who are new, I wanted to let you know I do have an inner union reading that is on special. I just opened it up. It's a half-hour reading. It's just going to be offered for this few-week pocket. The sessions that I've been doing have been gorgeous. They're really a deep 7 chakra read into the inner masculine, and then a 7 chakra read into the inner feminine. And there's been this really beautiful dance provided for those getting this reading of tapping into that inner union, but then also many of you are coming with a divine counterpart connection, and there have been some messages coming in around that as well. So if you're interested in that, I'll drop it in the comments in the description box. If you find this video after December 2023, which I hope many of you do, this might be a potential reading I continue to offer because it really does seem to have a lot of value that it's bringing to the table. So if you don't see it or you're not sure, you're welcome to email me or look on my website to see if it's still there and present. All right, loves, thank you so very much for being here with me. And I will see you tomorrow for day 19 of Inner Union. Love you. Bye.